Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful Saturday. So I decided this is what I look like on Saturday. My hair, I can't get it's really curly all over the place, but I brushed it down and trying to keep it down. Anyway, come on along with me if you want to do some stitching or if you just want to watch how this process goes. I'm going to put the camera down and we're going to stitch the blue floral that we designed the other day together. And so I'll talk to you a little bit about the process. If you have any certain questions that you'd like to ask me, please do so. We do have F-35s that fly over. I'm very close to an airport. And when they start flying over, there's like one after another, sometimes a dozen. So many times, even if I close the window, you can still hear them because they're super loud. So if that occurs, I'm going to try to mute um, this video. So hopefully everyone can hear me and we will get started. So I'm going to put the camera down and talk to you as I go along. Now, before I begin my stitching, I pinned everything in place because I love this design. So many times what a Sashiko expert will do is this moved a little bit, so I'm going to move this down. What they will do is kind of start in the middle and pull the thread up underneath the fabric. So what I do is the traditional, because this piece right here, the back of the base will have lining. So I'm not going to worry about that. What I'm going to do is start, and I'm starting a little close to the edge. I'm staying about 1/8 of an inch over here from the margin, about 1/8 of an inch. And for the sake of demonstrating this, I'm going to, if I hold it, well, maybe I can hold it up, but I feel a little awkward that way. So reaching up over the table. So I'm going to start it that way. And I'm starting with a beige thread. And I'm going to go to this. So this is the thread I'm starting with. This is lacy crochet. That's another name for it. And I'm going to go to this type of blue. This is a light blue, and this will add a little flair, a little effect for the blue themed, um, for the blue, I'm sorry, for the blue themed floral coin bag. So just starting, I am being mindful on how close I am to the edge. I don't want to be too close. Like I said, about 1/8 of an inch is good. And then we start flowing a little bit better. Now, if it's not in a straight line, again, as Sashiko stitching goes, that's okay. It's traditionally the authentic Sashiko stitching was not in a straight line. As a matter of fact, the impoverished farmers didn't have lights, right? They had candles. Now you see that went over to the side and you're inclined. The first thing I would be inclined when I first started Sashiko stitching is I'd want to pull that out. But I leave it because it's a part of the humble effect. I'm just going to go along and do some Sashiko stitching here. And if there's any questions, anybody joins us and has questions, I'm happy to answer. In the meantime, we'll leave this more as a demo. And you see, when I sewed that, this piece is overlapping this blue and yellow floral. And when I sewed it, that kind of lifted a little. So if that happens, just what you want to do is be mindful of that as you're going along. Because if you're not really paying attention and watching that type of let's say, react the fabric shifting, what could happen is you end up with a twisted border, a twisted edge of your fabric. So, um, and Sashiko stitching is a very mindful, meditative um, skill or hobby, I should say. You develop your skill as you go along, right? But it's a very meditative type of hobby of art, and it helps clear your mind too. Now, the reason I'm always straightening out my fabric is because I'm just very much in habit of doing that. Oops, the thread came out. That pulled right out. This eye is it's long and a little wide, but it's not as wide because I like to have a narrow needle so I don't puncture or ruin the fabric. I'm going right around the border. That's how I'm doing this particular piece. And so when I'm done, I'll have all of these outside pieces semi-secure. And then if I come down the middle, I'll have most of those. But another design as I'm going along. So you can do that with Sashiko stitching. You can have it go diagonally. Um, like you can have all the stitches going diagonal. You can work within each piece. So we're going to stay with the typical horizontal and vertical grid. And the reason is these are based on that type of Sashiko stitching that I did on another project. That these three that I'm working on were ordered based on that design. So that's why we'll stay with that design. I should keep the pin in this one till I actually have it secure. See how that bunched up a little bit? So it shifted a little bit, but that's okay, not so much that it's largely affecting the design. See this one here? This is interesting. I sewed that, and you see what it's doing? It pulled up. So there we go. Now I may not have that overlapping enough. It is on this side of it. I'll keep my eye on that. If that becomes a problem, I'll have to patch it again. I'll have to put another Boro Sashiko patch. I hope everyone's doing well today in your Saturday morning. Saturday mornings, I'm usually off to the thrift shop and getting fabric, but I did that run yesterday. So today, I wanted to work on this because I want to have the blue, the hot pink, and the green stitched by Tuesday. And I would say Tuesday is definitely realistic. Um, However, Monday would be better, but I doubt um, I will have them all done because I don't sit and I've seen some videos out there where people make these coin pouches and they tend to make them fairly quickly. Um, and I'm not sure if it's because I kind of stop and go in the process. I really think I do that. I don't sit straight through. I do take a break. And I really enjoy the process too. I don't do it mechanically. Not that they do, not that anyone else does, but I can't do it in one sitting. And I've tried. It just my eyes don't like it too much. Okay, so we're going to come up over the parameter here, and then we'll do 15 more minutes of Sashiko stitching. We'll come down this way and take a look at it from there. Okay, so this one I'm going to tie. I don't sew until the thread is so very short that I can't tie it easily. Now, a lot of people will take the needle and wrap the thread around and then pull it through to get a knot. but my thread fell off of the needle, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to cut that really short. I'll leave that like that. And so the thread is relaxed and it's not pulling on the fabric. So we stop for a minute to thread this one. And this is one of my thinner Sashiko needles actually. So this takes me a little bit to thread sometimes. And Sashiko needles do not cost too much. I know that they're on Amazon. I do not know if they're at whoops, that's not going to go through. This may take me a little bit. I probably should have just threaded a few. There we go. For this demo. I'll do that next time. So this fabric is very nice. This ended up all um, tightly woven cotton pieces. So this is a nice fabric, a nice fabric to work with. If you have a low quality or blended fabric, it makes a really big difference in the sewing. Let's see, I almost pulled that too tight. We don't want to do that. And you see I have fabric overlapping, which we will trim later. Let's see, we took all the pins out around the border, around the edges. Now I'm working with the beige thread until um until I have, let's see, one, two, three more rows of the beige, and then I'm going to work the blue in between because I really don't have a lot of blue left. You can see the tube, the cardboard tube there. So because of that, I want to make sure that I have enough to at least create an effect here. And so we'll come back. So what I'm going to do here is I'd like to kind of space this a little bit. So I'm not going to do my Sashiko stitching back. I'm going to actually stop this right here. So, oops. So I kind of want to space it a little more than usual. So I'm going to start down this way. And here I'm going through 3 layers. I'm going through this one, and the base. See, this is already starting to look very nice. It takes a little time. Some people, they do stitch very, very fast. And there are days I do stitch very fast, but for the most part, I don't. I'm more concerned on making sure that my pieces are staying where they're supposed to and just enjoying. I just really enjoy the process. So you got to watch your thread because it starts to pull when you're getting towards the end of it. That needle is, or pin, is making the fabric bunch a little bit there. And pretty soon I can start picking this up and working with it much easier than when the pins are in it. When you get on edges, when you're sewing on the edges, just move the needle over a tiny bit so you're catching your fabric, at least one of your fabrics. Because if you're right on the edge of the fabric, it could pull it, it could fray it, tear it. And if you run into a lot of trouble, then you can just patch over it. Okay. I guess that's as far as we're going to go today. And I just wanted to share a little bit of the stitching, the beginning of the stitching with you. And if you have any questions on any detail of it, um, certainly let me know, and I'm happy to answer.